And at that time, meaning when the true Christ returns at the seventh trumpet, immediately after the 5 month long hour of temptation, shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. This being when Satan gets locked up in the bottomless pit until the 1,000 years are finished, as you can see in Revelation chapter 20, verses 1 through 3. And there shall be a time of trouble, meaning the 1,000 year long great tribulation that immediately follows the 5 month long hour of temptation, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time, meaning when the seventh angel sounds, which is when all are changed into spiritual bodies, thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book, by taking part in the first resurrection that occurs at the seventh trumpet, or by taking part in the second resurrection after the 1,000 years are finished. Those written of in Revelation 7:14 come out of great tribulation, because they will have absorbed the discipline taught by Christ through the millennial priesthood, being then able to stand against Satan when he gets released from the bottomless pit and take part in the second resurrection, whereby they can go into the eternity, which is the third world age. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life and some to shame, because those alive on earth when the true Christ returns who fail to take part in the first resurrection will realize at that time that they'd been deceived into worshiping Satan instead of Christ. And everlasting contempt, which means an everlasting thrusting away, as you can see pointed out in the Companion Bible, meaning they'll be blotted out of existence in the lake of fire after the 1,000 years are finished if they fail to absorb the discipline Christ will teach through the millennial priesthood and follow Satan again when he gets released from the bottomless pit. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they shall turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever, because the millennial priesthood will distribute Christ's teachings of discipline to whosoever will, whereby they can stand against Satan after the 1,000 years are finished and go into the eternity. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro in wickedness, not knowledge, but wickedness, as you can also see pointed out in the Companion Bible, shall be increased. Then I, Daniel, looked, and behold, there stood other two, the one on this side of the bank of the river, and the other on that side of the bank of the river. And one said to the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, How long shall it be to the end of these wonders? In other words, how long will it be from when Satan appears as the Antichrist at the sixth trumpet to when the true Christ returns at the seventh trumpet? And I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, when he held up his right hand and his left hand unto heaven, and swear by him that liveth forever that it shall be for a time, times and an half, which is 3.5 years, but with the 7 years of Daniel's 70th week having been shortened to 5 months, this time, times and a half is now 2.5 months, or 70 evenings, which are what the 70 years in captivity to the Babylon of old were a type of. And when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished at the seventh trumpet, when the true Christ returns, destroying Satan's role of Antichrist as well as his one world system. And I heard, but I understood not. Then said I, O my Lord, what shall be the end of these things? And he said, Go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed till the time of the end. Many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand through Christ Jesus. And now we come to verse 11 of Daniel chapter 12, which corresponds to Daniel 8:13, where the question was asked, How long shall be the vision concerning the daily sacrifice and the transgression of desolation, meaning Satan when he appears in Jerusalem as the Antichrist at 666, meaning at the sixth seal, the sixth trumpet, and the sixth vial, to give both the sanctuary and the host to be trodden underfoot. And then as we saw in verse 14 of Daniel chapter 8, the answer was 2,300 evenings and mornings, meaning 1,150 evenings and 1,150 mornings. And from the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away and the abomination that maketh desolate set up, meaning at 666, when Satan appears as the Antichrist and most Christians get killed spiritually, which is when they'll cease to make sacrifices of their time, energy, mercy and or love within the many-membered body of the true Christ, there shall be 1,290 days. Subtract the 1,150 evenings of Daniel 8:14 from the 1,290 days here in Daniel 12:11, and you get 140. But because an evening begins the night, which is only half of a 24-hour period, we then have to split the 140 in half to end up with 70 evenings, or 2.5 months. So then from the time Satan appears as the Antichrist at 666, it'll be 2.5 months until the true Christ returns at 777, meaning at the seventh trumpet, the seventh vial, and immediately after the half an hour written of in the seventh seal. Blessed is he that waiteth, and cometh to the 1,305 and 30 days, and as we know from Revelation chapter 11 verse 3, 1,260 days was the original time given for the prophesying of the two witnesses, who are most likely Moses and Elijah. Subtract 1,260 days from the 1,335 days here, and you get 75 days. The amount of time the prophesying of the two witnesses was shortened to that will end 3.5 days before the seventh angel sounds, which is when the true Christ returns as King of kings and Lord of lords. But go thou thy way till the end be, for thou shalt rest and stand in thy lot at the end of the days.